Hey, what's going on, guys? It's TrekYT here, or Nick, back with another brand new video, guys. Today I wanted to show you how you can turn any cave in Minecraft into an absolutely amazing home. So jumping straight into things, guys, you have to find the right cave. Now, this is probably a very vague thing to say, but the way to make a cave house is you have to find the proper cave to do it. You're not just going to want to pick any random cave. You're going to want to find something with some spacious, ness on the inside and something in a good location. You want to have the mouth of the cave be relatively, in an open area. So mine's on the side of a mountain, and what I did is I cleared away all of the trees around so that way it kind of opens things up and I can terraform it myself afterwards. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm building my own cave house is I like to extend the grass that it's at the mouth of the cave into the cave, so it kind of feels like the cave is being taken over by the, nature around. And in my particular cave, there was actually two entrances, and a lot of caves in Minecraft have this. So if you have this, you could probably go ahead and take one of those entrances and turn them into almost a balcony or some form of cool thing on the outside. So that's what I did here. Now we're jumping on the inside where the real magic is going to happen. So again, I extend that grass on the inside of the cave to kind of give it a really nice feel, and then I go ahead and replace all of the stone floor with some form of wood. In this point, I used wooden planks. You guys can use whatever you want, but I went with wood planks to kind of give it a little more of a homey feel. Now, in a home, there's 3 or 4 things that really make up a Minecraft house. First off, you're going to want some storage. So I went with an abundant amount of storage, and I really wanted to have this be like a permanent home, not just a starter home. So I put a lot of storage. So when doing the storage, I really wanted to give the feel of that, cave house to still feel like a cave. So instead of just turning all the walls into flat, basic walls, I kept the cave atmosphere and just kind of outlined where I put my chest. And then next I went ahead and I put in a enchanting table, which is number 2 for things that I kind of think make a Minecraft house a Minecraft house. And I kind of work this enchantment table into the flow of the cave. I really just kind of dig out a little bit more of the wall, but then I go back and I add more stone in to really kind of make it feel very cave-like, because you're building a cave house, you want it to stay as much like a cave as you possibly can. And then again, I go ahead and I extend the wooden plank floor underneath the enchantment table and throughout the rest of the little cave area to kind of give it that homey feel, but then all the walls still have that cave-like feel because they're stone in various dirts and ores. Next, I felt like in any kind of house, you need some form of food making. You can either have that be some form of a mob, a cow, a pig, a chicken, or in my case, I decided I would throw in a little bit of a farm. Now, it's nothing major. It's not going to be probably your main food source, but it actually doubles as something that makes your house look nicer, as well as it's actually functional because you can, farm all of these crops, make wheat, carrots, baked potatoes, whatever you want, and it just adds a really nice part to the cave. So I added in a waterfall type thing coming down to make it a little more believable, like you're underground and a water spring from above is falling through the earth into your cave. And I just thought that looked really, really cool. Next, I went ahead and I added in a support beam throughout the entire cave to kind of give it a realistic feel to the cave, as well as it just breaks up the cave a little bit, but also makes it still feel very much like a cave because all of the stone and stuff is still there. Next, I really, really felt that this cave needed some color. That's where you're going to make your biggest transformation, is kind of bringing the nature into the cave. I like to add leaves, grass, all sorts of foliage to the inside of the cave to make it feel overgrown, because I want to break up those grays as much as I can, because that's where it's going to turn more into a home, in my opinion. Also, in the cave, we had part of the cave go deep, deep down into the earth, and I kind of wanted to separate that from the rest of the house. I didn't want the entire cave house to just kind of keep going on forever, so I built a little door, and it kind of separated the rest of the cave from the actual house. It gave it that homey feel, make you feel safe on the inside, and I felt that was really, really important. Next, the last thing on our list, I wanted to add a nether portal. I felt like that was the last thing that kind of completed a Minecraft house. So I kind of stuck that into one of the walls of the cave. But then again, I went back and I made sure it felt like it fit as best as possible, adding stone and adding different, I guess, blocks that belong underground, like dirt and ore around it, really naturally placed so it looks really good. And then now we're jumping back onto the outside of the cave, and we're going back in and we're adding in our own terraforming around the outside of the cave, so it looks a lot nicer. And all I'm really doing is making large oak trees and then extending the trunk down and adding random leaves around. It's nothing crazy, it's no crazy custom trees, it's literally bone meal and saplings in some leaf blocks. That's all it is, and it actually ends up looking really nice. And then I go ahead and add some coarse dirt at the end of the entrance of the cave, and that's it. So I want to go ahead and take a quick walkthrough of the cave. That kind of went by kind of quick, so I wanted to guys give you a little bit of a walkthrough so you guys can really see where I went from and where it ended up. So this is supposedly your main entrance of the cave, and I didn't want to make it too grand because I wanted to make it feel like a cave house. So it's kind of subdued, you're under the ground, and you kind of want to make it a little lackluster on the outside and make it a lot cooler on the inside. So you step on in carrying the grass inside of the cave, so that way it kind of feels like the nature is just kind of overgrowing inside, and then it slowly transfers into wooden plank floor, so it kind of gives it that homey feel like I said in the time lapse. And then we have our house, and what's nice about a cave house is that everything's pretty much open, so it's really like a cave base in a way, more or less than a cave house. But what I think makes up a Minecraft house is an enchanting table, some form of storage, some crafting tables, and some furnaces, and then a nether portal. We have all 5 of those things in here to really make it feel as homey and as much like a Minecraft house as possible. And again, on this side where we have our little balcony, this was only because we had 2 entrances to the cave rather than 1, so we had to add this little balcony and kind of get a little creative with it. But again, we use the grass at the entrance of it, and then we kind of carry it over into wood, so that way again it gives that really nice homey feel. And then over here where we added our little farm, and we had to knock this out a little bit to make the cave a little bit bigger. You're probably gonna have to do that because you're not necessarily gonna find the most perfect cave off the bat. You're gonna find a nice cave, and you can easily just take your pickaxe, mine a couple blocks away, add in some more stone blocks, and really sculpt it to whatever you feel is the right size for your cave. But one of the biggest points when making a cave house is you want to make sure it maintains that feel of a cave, very like undergroundy feel. So you want to keep as much stone, dirt, and different blocks in here. And one really good technique is adding in cobblestone walls hanging from the ceiling, because it almost feels like rock shards coming down at you, and it really gives a nice effect, and it really makes you keep that feel of a cave when you're turning a house underground. And then like I said, we wanted to kind of keep the cave to a relatively decent size, but we didn't want it to go on forever. So we added this little doorway over here that leads to the rest of the cave down below. And we just wanted to keep it kind of separated from our house versus the cave where some mobs could be spawning. And the last thing I did, like I showed in the time lapse, is I added all these leaf blocks around the entire cave house because it added in some color. It really broke up all the grays, and it added a lot more detail and a lot more color to it, and it just made it look 10 times better. So sort of just to kind of recap, when you're building a cave house, it's relatively simple. You want to keep the house as much kind of like the cave as possible by just adding in the things that you need. And the way to add those things is you just want to kind of build into the walls. You don't really want to build out in the middle of the open. You want to keep it kind of open so it feels very cave-like. You want to dig out little parts of the wall, make them flow very organically so they're not like symmetrical. Put the things back into the walls like the chest and the enchant table, and then that will kind of maintain your cave feel, and as well try to keep the center again as open as possible so it feels like you're in a cave. It's just transformed into a house. Now that is pretty much where we're going to bring today's video to a wrap. I hope you guys learned a couple quick tips. Cave houses are really cool and really fun, and it's actually one of my more favorite things to do in Minecraft. The feeling of building underground is just super fun for me. I don't know, I just love caves in Minecraft, and I like building underground. So hopefully this helped you guys kind of get the principles of how to build underground, how to make your cave house look as awesome as possible while also maintaining that feel of a cave. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys think that this was at all helpful or have any concerns, let me know down below, and I would be more than happy to answer those for you. And while you're down there, guys, might as well hit that subscribe button because why not? But as always, guys, I love you all. See you guys next time. Peace out.